Hey everybody, so today I am going to do a video, and this is a design video, and I'm showing you guys how I draw certain materials, how I learned it. My bottom line is I'm not a professional, I'm just a student, and my point of doing this is just to share, tips and tricks from the stuff I learned in class and maybe from my own personal experience. I'm not saying that this is the way you do it, but this is the way I do it. So that's my little disclaimer. I hope you guys enjoy, and I am doing wood, tiles, and metal. So take care. So I'm just going to be using marker paper, and there's a few different brands, but the one I use is Canson. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take your lightest color and you're just going to put a wash over it. A wash just means all over color, no extra detailing, okay? So there's a couple of ways you can do this. First of all is to use the thickest side of your marker right here, and you're just going to kind of color all around. Okay, so then you can either just color like this.
And you can go outside the box, you can stay right in it.
So there's your light wash of color. And you can see that there are going to be streaks, but it's okay because you're going to put on many layers, so these little streaks are not going to make a big difference right now. What you generally want to do is actually the medium color, the middle color, should be your star color. The light wash is just kind of like a base for you. Okay? So with this you can go very stylized. I'm gonna split this in half, and I'm gonna do one side stylized and one side more realistic. Okay, and let's see. For the stylized part, I'm gonna take my marker, just like this, just using the very tip of it. I'm gonna go all the way down.
Go faster.
Done. And this is more of like a stylized sort of detailing. In real life, wood does not technically look like this, but for the design purposes, this will work. Okay, on the other side, let's do a more controlled coating. Okay, you can see a difference there. One side is fully coated, and one side is more streaky. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thinnest marker, and that's the 005, and I'm going to make wood detailings. And what wood detailings are is there's two ways. There's the stylized way and the more natural way. Now let's do the stylized way. The stylized way is you want to just start, you want to keep everything pretty linear, so you can pull it down straight, just like that. Can you see that? Okay, you can even use your ruler to help you out because this is not the realistic interpretation of it. You can move it around just like that. I hope you could see that. Now on the other side, let's do the more realistic way. And this is a lot more organic, it's a lot more free-flowing, and it's actually a lot easier. You can just start anywhere and let your hands just go. And that is really realistically how wood grains are. You can go further out, pull this in. You can pull this part, whatever you want. I just did an awful job, but you get the idea. Okay? Now once you have that down, and that is again with the thinnest pen, the very, very thinnest, you're going to take that medium color again, and this is the E35, the thing I can't pronounce. You can either take the thicker side or the thinner side, whichever you prefer. And I would suggest that you go over it once more. Now the stylized one, I'm going to go really quick strokes, just very, very quick. And then the realistic one, darker strokes. Okay, you see, and all those layers really help build a really, really nice color. And then with your darker color, what I'm going to do now is pretty much accent it. Your color's already down, but you want to make sure that it pops and looks a little bit more 3D. So I'm going to take my darker color, and this is the light walnut. And how wood grains go, you have to show light and you have to show shadow. So you can either use a marker or you can use a color pencil. It's really up to you. for this exercise, I'm using a marker just to save time. And I'm going to turn it to the thinner side, or the thick side, but the thinner part of it, the pointy end. And I'm going to make lines like this, if you can see that. Just very thinly, like that. And I'm going to choose a side, whichever side my light is coming from. In this exercise, I want my light to come from here. So that means the shadow is behind the line. So I'm going to follow that through. And the stylized one can be quite loose. It's just to get the idea, and you don't have to stay consistent at all. Okay? And if you can see, just really quickly, it creates depth. Now the more realistic one, where I did an awful job, I'm sorry about that. I can redo it. I'm going to follow this all the way through. You see? And then what you can do is take that medium color again, and you can actually punch it up a little and darken some of them. There seems to be a problem. You can darken some of the pieces. And the stylized one, if you want, you can just have the shadows come from one side. So I'm just going to really quickly. And just very, very simply, you can see that we've created depth. Again, I apologize for that natural wood. I did not do a good job. Alright, so now that we've established where the shadows are coming from, we want to establish where the light is coming from. And as you can see here, I have my, my arrow pointing this way. My light is hitting it from this side. And I'm going to use a Prisma white, okay, Prismacolor pencil in white. I don't know if you can see that really. I mean, it's white, so you know what that looks like. Alright, this is not sharpened. You should sharpen yours. And on the other side of these lines, I'm going to draw a highlight, okay? For the stylized one, you want to make sure that you just do a few. You don't want to go overboard. You don't have to be very precise either, which is why they call it the stylized one. You see? And then, of course, the natural one, we want to make sure that we highlight some. With the natural wood, I would suggest you don't highlight all of them. But what you want to do is kind of create an angle where the light is coming from. So if your light is coming from this angle, let me show you. You're going to start at the corner and kind of let it diagonally hit as natural light would. And you don't have to do every one of them. Something along these lines. You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to take the thickest one, and that's my Faber Castell medium, my super thick marker. And I'm going to actually punctuate some of the lines. And with the stylized one, I'm just going to randomly choose a few lines to highlight. And again, we're going to follow that technique of not going through the whole thing, but just choosing which lines I want to really punch out. Okay, this will really help create depth. Pretty much same with the other one, with the natural looking wood. Okay, so let me darken these lines now that I have. Okay, and when you draw anything, you really want to show line weights, which means some lines are thicker and some lines are thinner, and that will really help determine what you're trying to do. If all your lines are the same thickness, it's going to confuse the viewers, because in real life, we're not 2D, we're 3D, and we need that depth to understand the materials. Okay, so here's my really simple wood demonstration, and I hope that made sense. There you go, and if you guys have any additional questions, please list them below. Alright guys, have a good night. Bye!